Welcome to the Rivalry Rant podcast. It's the Kentucky Wildcats versus the Louisville Cardinals and everything else in the world of sports. And now, your hosts, Josh Conder and David Smith. Let's get it on.
Welcome, everybody, to episode number 3 of the Rivalry Rant podcast on this Thursday, June the 22nd. Josh Conder, once again here in the big chair, joined by my co-host, David Smith. Dave, how's things going?
I don't understand why you're always in the big chair. Why can't I ever be in the big chair?
Well, because you don't work the computer.
I'm sitting on this aluminum thing. Terrible for my back.
Okay, so if you start putting in the amount of time that I do for this, the editing,
I like showing up and giving my input.
Maybe buy some equipment, you know.
Seems like a lot of effort.
Yeah, so that's why you won't be on the big chair.
All right, well, maybe one day.
Maybe one day. You got high hopes, man. You got high hopes. But anyway, we're back in here today to discuss something that's been coming for a while now, and we've just got to get it over with. And that's kind of the way David just described it to me as he walked into the room. But first, we are excited to announce that for the moment we are up on iTunes, so you will be able to download episodes straight off of the iTunes app. We got to do a little bit of critiquing with that. It may disappear, but it'll be back up again. And thanks to some input that we've got from some people, we are moving forward with some different things as far as this goes. And we are setting a goal now that every Monday night we're getting together to knock one of these out from here on out. And it should be uploaded by Tuesday around lunchtime is kind of how the scheduling from here on out is going forward. So we're hoping that the more we do, the obvious more that gets out to you guys, the listeners, and some big things are coming for us. We actually have a third party who is investing a little bit with us to get us some better equipment. So that's pretty much how my weekends are going to be spent, playing around with microphones, while once again David does nothing but show up and give us 2 cents.
Well, you know, you got to have an integral part of the actual show. So,
but to be fair, David's kind of in the grieving process right now, I guess you would have to say. So I guess he really
on the
doesn't.
Acceptance level, I've accepted that.
He really doesn't have time to put in because he has to spend all day wiping tears from his eyes. Because last Thursday,
That's not true.
Last Thursday, the NCAA and the Committee of Infractions released their final ruling on Louisville. And to sum it up as quickly as we can, all wins from December 2010 to May 2014 were vacated, and head coach Rick Pitino was given a 5-game ACC suspension. And all of that's led up to this moment. Me and Dave, this has been coming for a long time. Last podcast, we kind of made our predictions. Neither one of us were really right. So, Dave, what were your thoughts last Thursday when the news came down?
I was close to being right on everything but the vacation of records. I actually said Pitino would get 5 games instead of 9.
Yeah, but did you think it was going to be ACC games?
I thought it would, and I thought they'd appeal it and get it to regular season games. I actually think I said that in the last podcast. And all of these punishments are pending appeal. I don't really have high hopes in the appeal process. Unfortunately, I really think that it's going to go past that. I think UofL is going to appeal it. If they don't get the reaction, if they don't get the answers they want, I think they will end up taking it to the court of law. I'm fine with the punishments that was handed down, except the vacation of records and the Final Fours and the championships. And there's a couple reasons for that.
Well, let's not dive into that just yet.
We won't dive into that. But I was expecting what we got except the vacation records. I was fine with everything else. One thing I want to point out that I just don't get, I don't understand, Connor, shed some light on it. These national writers, some of them saying that we got off light. Can you explain what that means?
To me, these national guys are looking at it. I think mostly on Pitino. And I'll be honest, when this news broke, because I think they said that Louisville was given knowledge of this around 10 o'clock that morning.
It was 9.
Or 9, and then it was released to the public at 11.
Yeah.
So I was probably like most people sitting there refreshing my Twitter account to see what happened. And the first thing that popped up was Rick Pitino 5 ACC games. And I texted you and I was like, really? 5 blank games? That's it? And I was shocked by it. And then about 2 minutes later, you see the NCAA sends out, or reporters are sending out, that it says the vacation of wins. And first, the NCAA, how in the hell, I mean, this was a huge news. And the NCAA, in their official report, doesn't even get the English right on it, because they put December 2010 and May 2014. So first off, there's no games in May 2014. So everybody's like, what the hell does this mean? And then I guess NCAA gets the word of it and they send out a tweet that shows it hyphenating, meaning that all the games in between.
Breaking news, the NCAA is a joke.
Yes.
They can't even come out with an official response. And then on the most important punishment, they're not even clear about it.
Yeah.
And they're still not really that clear about it. Like, how you can't just say these are the games vacated is beyond me. We don't have to dive into that.
From my understanding of what I've read on it is they work with, and it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense.
It would take 10 minutes to figure out.
They could look at the box score, but
yes.
and here's the language that even the University of Louisville people use is, if a player to me plays in a game, regardless, and they're saying, well, did them playing have an outcome of the game? Okay, so if I'm player Billy Bob and I play in a game and I score 6 points and we win the game, but I'm ineligible, but we won by 7, can you say that he didn't make a difference because if he hadn't played?
That's what the NCAA is saying.
That's what, I mean, that's...
Eric Crawford yesterday actually said that if Luke Hancock isn't implicated in the allegations, which he's not, that he's most outstanding player for the Final Four 2013 will stand. That won't be vacated because he wasn't part of that.
No.
I mean, the whole thing's crazy. The NCAA proves once again it's a joke.
Okay. Well, here's my argument to that, and how, like I said, I don't really... I honestly think if they hadn't have taken the vacation of wins away, I think you all would have got off easy.
I don't know if you even call that easy though, because that's still
if they had only slapped,
it's still suspension.
Okay,
but if you compare it to other things that's gone on, it's about par with the course.
Okay, here's the whole, from my stance of it. For years we've talked about, and don't get me wrong, NCAA didn't handle everything the way I think they should have, as far as breaking down your all's case here. There was, obviously, we just talked about some stuff that is really stupid that we think. And for years, me and you have both talked about, even going back before the whole story with this incident happened, that the NCAA was a joke on a lot of things. Greg Shanky, the SEC commissioner, is now the head of the Committee of Infractions. And when he was appointed that role, he stepped up, and it kind of reflected on some of the stuff that's happened in the past. You have Miami that's gotten away with just tons of stuff down there. I mean, just there's example after example after example if you dive into it. And he talked about how the NCAA was kind of viewed as a joke. So now he's in this position, and I know Louisville fans, it sucks. But to me, I'm not saying that I don't technically believe that the penalty was too harsh, and that's not me being a UK fan. I think, you know what? It's probably about right. If those players were ineligible and they weren't reported as ineligible, then they're not eligible for the games. So I know it. To me, I think this was a big step for the NCAA because I think it showed that they have some cojones and aren't afraid to do the right thing. But if I was a Louisville fan, and you have 2 big things or 3 big things right now that the NCAA is involved with, you have North Carolina, their academic scandal, the Ole Miss situation with Hugh Freeze down there, and then you have this terrible situation that's probably worse than all of them at Baylor. If the NCAA doesn't go after these schools like they just did Louisville, as a Louisville fan, I'm pissed.
And I would be interested to see how they handle that situation. Let me explain number one. And I hate, as a UofL fan, we're putting in this spot that you have to put a disclaimer out there like, everybody knows UofL fans don't believe in prostitution. We don't condone it. We know what happened was wrong. The only problem I have with the vacation of records is this, and you can agree, disagree with me, whatever. When it comes to vacation of records and in this situation, it's about the impermissible benefit. There was 3 players on the team that received an impermissible benefit of anywhere from $100 to $300.
But let me interrupt you. The NCAA's findings, the money issue of it wasn't what they found. Was the problem.
I'm getting to that though. Okay.
But I'm just giving that.
This is why I have a problem with it. The NCAA, as far as vacating games go, is saying they're vacating games because these players received an impermissible benefit. Therefore, they're ineligible for 4 years. But then they go on to basically say, but it's not about the impermissible benefit. So which is it? Like I said, they use the word repugnant. Let me finish. They use the word repugnant. They use the word disgusting, which all of it is. But when you're talking about vacating records, that should only be an impermissible benefit. If those 3 student athletes got the same value of, say, food that was worth $100 to $300, clothes, there is not going to be 4 years of wins vacated, in my opinion. And that's the reason I have a problem with it. That is my sole reason I have a problem with it. We didn't win 1 game because of this. We didn't get a recruiting advantage because of this. I'm fine with all the other penalties, but that's why I have a problem with it. That's my stance on it.
But they made multiple claims that it wasn't the value of it. It was just that it just had happened.
Right. But then they go on to say the reason these players are ineligible is because of the impermissible benefit. So on one hand, they're saying it's not about that. Well, but then they say, well, but that's why we're vacating your record.
No, they're saying that this was a benefit, but they're not looking at the money side of it.
Okay.
Louisville's whole argument through this was, well, it was only $5,000 to $7,000 is what they could.
$5,000 over 30 players.
That they could prove that there was only like $5,000 that they could say that was. So I don't think that the NCAA looked, and that was Louisville's claim, and the joke was, well, so you're supposed to be able to hire ugly prostitutes and get away with it. But the NCAA said, look, it didn't matter that it was only $5,000. It was still a benefit.
Yes, I understand what you're saying. They're saying that, but then they go on to say that the reason they're vacating the wins is because of the benefit.
Okay.
They're using both things there. Pick one and go with it.
I don't think they're
arguing.
arguing
like the Penn State case. So that is beyond anything we've ever seen, because at that point you're talking about child sexual abuse. The NCAA freaked out, deservedly so, and vacated 11 years worth of wins out of a quick reaction. Penn State took it to the court of law, and they're saying, look, this is awful, but what does this have to do with winning games? It doesn't, and then they got reinstated those wins. Like, what's went on at Baylor? That's a terrible situation, but did it have anything to do with winning games on the field? That's why I don't think it's the right punishment. We deserve to get hammered. There's no doubt about it. I'll be the first to admit it. I think Pitino should have got more than what he got, and then you don't punish the school any further. You let them keep the victories because it had nothing to do with winning the championship. It had nothing to do with going to the Final Four. You know, that's what's disappointing for me.
Okay, so, and Katina Powell's put out there that she's put out a lot, let's say. And some of it, I'll look at her and I'm like, there's no way that lady's lying about it. Some of the stuff, which obviously not all of that book was able to be proven as true. There were some things that they couldn't justify and prove that they were true. But she has publicly said the names Shane Mahanon, Montrezl Harrell, and Russ Smith. Those are the 3 that everybody speculates are the 3. There was 3 players that had signed that the NCAA said, and then up to 15 recruits that were involved with this. And those 3 are the names that I hear.
And we don't know for sure because it's redacted.
Yes. Now we have a 45-day period where the University of Louisville has to say what games that these 3 people that the NCAA didn't even state were a part
here's
of.
the thing about that. If it is those 3 guys, we don't know for sure if it is. We have a pretty good idea it could be. But if it is those 3 guys, in my mind, they are really just taking Katina Powell at her word, because those 3 guys didn't talk to the NCAA. Why would they? They weren't in college at the time. They'd have no reason to talk to the NCAA. And so that's another problem with me. She's had some, and look, things happen. There's no doubt about it. But when I look at that, I think, are they really just taking her at her word? I mean, I guess they are. Because another interesting thing in that committee of infractions.
What benefit is she getting from the NCAA by talking to them?
Well, she's had motive the whole time. She said that. She's had motive the whole time.
After the talk with quote-unquote Coach Mike, and he said that he wanted basically white women. And that's what she said was the thing that pushed her to spill all of it.
And the other thing, too, that bothered me in this committee of infractions, like there's a part in there, they're like, one of the assistant recruits said that one of the assistant coaches said that y'all weren't practicing hard because you had strippers in the.
I thought that was a player.
No, it was a recruit.
Why would
Well, maybe it was a player.
It was a player.
And then if you read the next page, because I went through it pretty good, it's in a footnote. It says, but basically it said, but that really didn't happen. Like that wasn't corroborated. So they're putting these things out there, and if you read the actual document in footnotes, it'll say like, but this wasn't proven. I just have a hard time with how they went about it. I think, kind of like what you said earlier, I think they made UofL an example. I really do. The only problem I have is the vacation of wins, because I think if it was an impermissible benefit in anything other than sex acts, you're not vacating wins. And when you're talking about eligibility, I don't think it should matter. It's the impermissible benefit itself. And another thing is that if we would have found out about this while those players were playing, with the amount that they received, it would have been like a 1 to 3 game suspension. And then you serve out those games, and then you're done, you're reinstated. And I just don't know how that can justify 4 years worth of wins. And I don't think I'm the only person that thinks that. And I don't think it's just UofL fans that think that. You have Jay Billis saying that. You have Dick Vitale saying that.
Jay Billis also thinks that North Carolina.
I understand, but a lot of people, think that was over the top. And I think it was too with just the wins. I think everything else is legitimate. We deserve to get hammered. But I think the vacation wins was over the top. That's just me.
Well, I'm not saying as much as an example, but for years, sports fans have talked about how the NCAA was kind of a joke when it came to this stuff. And now that they have, the appeal is, in my not from highly unlikely. I don't think the NCAA is going to go against their own people in this case.
It's happened. There's been appeals. One, I'm not real confident in it. We actually had an appeal overturned in '99 as a postseason ban. I'm not confident in it.
Yeah, but that was over insurance on a car.
I don't know exactly.
And like I said, if I was a Kentucky fan in this spot, I would definitely been pissed off to no end as well. But the NCAA for years has been looked at as a joke, and now they've stepped up and they've done something that's it's crazy.
It's still a joke, though. It's still a joke. They can't even get the language right in their official release. They can't even be clear on what happened or what penalties there are. They're a joke. They're a joke. I've always said they're a joke, though. I'm not just saying this because it happened to UofL. I've been saying they were a joke since I started watching sports.
But I think they're a joke up until they do something. You know what? Now it kind of sucks that it was you all. Because that news to the public broke at 11 o'clock. And then at 12:30, Pitino, Jurich, Chuck Smurt, who, if I'm a Louisville fan,
money. Yeah, he might be out of a job.
Yeah, that was $300,000.
Paid him $300,000.
That
Let me ask you this, honestly.
Okay.
Non-biased. Well, I should never say non-biased on this show because we're biased. We're always going to be biased. Do you think that scandal allowed us to win any games we wouldn't have won without it? Now,
it's hard to tell. is if Montrezl Harrell is a part of this, if this happened on his recruiting trip, there's no way that you can say it didn't have a factor of him coming in to play at Louisville.
I just don't see in any scenario where it could. Because, and I also firmly believe this as well. I don't even think the players and the recruits that took part in it, I don't think that they even knew when they had sex with these girls that it was paid for. I honestly don't. I think it was a type of situation where they came over, girls were dancing, they had money thrown up in there. But I don't think they knew that Andre McGee's handed Katina Powell $200 to go have sex with that player. That might be my naive way of thinking. And it doesn't make it right at all. It doesn't make it right.
And I think that's
you
where...
can make the argument that we lost recruits because of it. I mean, there was many recruits that was like, that turned me off.
You could argue that, I mean, that very well. My thing is, and everybody's talking, which, don't get me wrong, you have the wins that are vacated, obviously the 2012 Final Four, 2013 national title. But there is a lot of money on the line here with this.
Yeah,
Louisville's having to pay back.
That's why I think that this is not going to be over for a few years.
Yeah.
I think Louisville's going to take this to court with the vacation of wins and the money. I think it's going to get ugly. I really do. I don't think this is going to be over anytime soon.
Do you worry as a Louisville fan? Because there's people here that haven't talked. Andre McGee hasn't talked to the NCAA. Mm-hmm. He could potentially be subpoenaed.
Right.
So
I don't know how it could get any worse at this point.
What if he comes out and says Pitino knew?
I know for 100% fact that won't happen. I know it won't.
There's not an ounce. What if? Okay. What?
Do you think Pitino knew?
I don't.
Okay. I don't think many.
I think there's a should have known factor because it's on campus.
It's always he should have known factor. But then NCAA even kind of said he shouldn't have known. In their reports, they kind of said that. I don't think at this point.
I'm not saying that he needs, but I'm saying okay. He hired Andre McGee, and he is his responsibility.
And I agree.
Did you see the little letter that?
Yeah, I thought it was a good letter.
Because here's my thing. He talked about Andre McGee and how Andre would have lied to him about it.
Right.
Okay. So you're hiring people that aren't people.
If you're a manager of a business, you're going to make bad hires.
Obviously, but he sat there and said that McGee would have lied to him about it.
Yeah, after he knows all this information, of course he thinks that. He put the wrong trust and judgment in the wrong person.
Okay. Yes.
Nobody's denied that.
Okay.
I've never denied
you're going to appeal the games. The Rick's going to spin.
No, I think we'll just appeal that they're not SEC games. I don't think they'll appeal that he's suspended.
That's my one of the main.
Let me tell you, I really think this. If vacating wins wasn't on the table, I don't think we would appeal nothing. I think they saw that and they were mad. They're like, we're appealing.
Oh yeah. And like I said, I'm not. And there's Kentucky fans that are even like, well, Louisville should just stuck up and take the. I'm sorry. For one, it's potentially $10 million that they're going to have to pay.
You got to fight for
they're going to fight.
You got to fight for the money. You're not just going to.
But my thing with we're going to take them to court, blah, blah, blah.
I think they will.
But I'm telling you, I think a lot more stuff could come out with that.
I don't know how it could be any worse, though.
Okay, what if...
We potentially lost the Final Four if the appeal doesn't work. We were going to lose the championship if the appeal doesn't work. What else are you going to lose?
So Louisville fans were all ready for this to be over with until we take away the title.
Because
now we got to fight them.
Of course you're going to fight them. There's nothing else to lose in my theory.
Well, the punishment can't get worse.
So why wouldn't you? You got to give it a shot.
Put you in the spotlight and you look like a dumbass even more.
We're already in the spotlight.
Yeah, but you even said you're ready to get it over with.
Yeah, if the penalties weren't this extreme, I wasn't expecting it to be that extreme.
Nobody thought we was going to take a title.
No, I didn't. It's never happened before, and I think it's unprecedented. We move on now.
Okay, what about the...
I do think it's weird, though. I want to touch on this a little bit more about how it doesn't seem like people out of the state of Kentucky are really even acknowledging that we could potentially lose a Final Four and a championship. Like, people don't think that's a big deal. Why do you think that is?
You got Billis and people like that. Well, for one, I don't think...
But there's not many.
Because it hasn't technically happened yet as the big thing.
Like, I haven't seen, like, most headlines you see still are like, Pitino gets 5-game suspension. Like, some articles don't even have it in there. I'm like, that's the story.
Well, they technically can't write it, I guess, until...
You could say potentially.
Yeah.
I think that's a way bigger story than Pitino getting suspended.
Okay. Question to you. If you would have fired Pitino when this Or even if Pitino would have stepped away, do you think they would have changed it?
I don't think it would have mattered at all.
They would. Man, he still gets up there and talks like, I just don't know how it could happen. The press conference, the 12:30 press conference that Louisville gave after this came out, there was quite a bit. There were three main things that stuck out to me. First, Chuck Smirt sat up there and blabbered and tried to spit out words.
They were all pissed.
Yeah. Rick has just, and don't, okay, look, here, and this is what's bothered me. This is a terrible situation, okay? I'm not sure Rick Pitino knew about it, but we've had to hear about 9/11 with his brother-in-law, Billy Minardi, through this. And now he's talking about Jim Valvano and how the NCAA gave him cancer. To me, somebody needs to tell Rick Pitino, in my opinion, to shut up. Because every time he talks...
But that's Rick Pitino. That's just him.
But it's hurting it even more. It makes you look dumber.
You have to think about this for a second. You have to, for 1 second, take your hatred away from how much hate Pitino. Just for a second and think about this.
It's not that. I don't think it's the hatred part of me that comes from
it is.
Listen, no, because let me tell my third point that I thought this. And I don't particularly... Okay, story time real quick. I don't like Tom George, okay? However, I had a run-in with Tom George one day in Louisville. I went down to pick up an order for work. He happened to be picking up an order for the University of Louisville at the same place I was at. Okay? Tom walks out, has a big box. I don't even know it's Tom George. I open the back hatch of his Lexus so he can put the box in there. He sets down the box. I see it's Tom George. I'm wearing a UK shirt. And he's like, most people wouldn't have done that for me. I laughed. He laughed. It was kind of comical. But he is the only one, especially during that press conference, that to me I didn't look at as just being a complete jackass. Because he's not talking. He was short and brief when anything was at. People asked him, he said, "Well, I thought the ruling was a little harsh." Okay.
So you're saying you like that or didn't?
I think Tom George in this whole ordeal is the only one that's been smart. Because Rick Pitino, okay, the NCAA is, with this appeal, is who's going to come to town. So Rick Pitino gets up there, I've lost all faith in the NCAA and wants to bash them about it. I understand you're pissed, but it's like, okay, if I'm on trial, I'm not going to talk shit about the jury because they're at the end of the day who it's going to...
You know who he is.
I know.
He's going to talk. Look, you also have to put yourself in his shoes.
But doesn't the Louisville PR people just have to say, Rick, shut up? I know it's terrible. I know he's pissed off.
I think it's better than just not saying nothing and giving a...
Don't bring up Jimmy Valvano and cancer. Don't do that.
I don't know why after he's 64 that you think that he's just going to be
shit
quiet.
if he's 84.
Anything. He has been coaching.
He could have said the same thing Tom said.
He's been coaching for 35 years. He's never had any run-ins with NCAA compliance. He goes to Kentucky in a scandalous situation, saves their program, and then this awful thing happens, and everybody throws him under the bus like he's done something awful, and the NCAA's proven he's known nothing about it. So, yeah, he's mad. Because everything he's done all of a sudden is ruined for something that he didn't know about. So, yeah, he's pissed. So he's going to get up there and he's going to talk about how pissed off.
Okay, let's not act like he's a saint because he's done some shit.
When it comes to NCAA compliance, he's never done anything.
Okay, but your legacy is more than just your coaching legacy. It's what kind of person you are. And there was stuff that he's been through
12 years ago.
And
he mentioned that in that letter.
I know
what he did was awful.
He's
paid the consequences and you go from there. I don't think you can take that situation and hold this against him when he didn't know it.
I just think that they're sitting there watching that. He's got to shut up because every time he talks, it seems
it
like
wouldn't matter. I really don't think it would.
No, I think it would. What
do you think if he wasn't talking that they wouldn't have gave us those harsh penalties?
No, don't get me wrong. The penalties were said. I'm just saying now. Okay, the penalties have been delivered, so now your steps to the appeal. Let's not talk crap about the people that are involved with the appeal.
I don't know.
I think George is sitting there
the
thinking,
people part of the appeal probably won't even know what he said.
Oh, Really, David?
It wouldn't surprise me.
Really?
The first CL.
You think the first title that the NCAA is potentially taken away that they weren't sitting there watching them during that press conference?
I'm watching. You're just speaking the truth.
I don't know about that. The Val Van Owen cancer thing, I was sitting there, and I don't like watching it. Like, I can't say non-biased, but as somebody in a situation,
if you watch the 30
would you quit interrupting me?
You've interrupted me quite a bit.
But I've been putting points in there. Let me just talk. I saw a man that has lost it. Pitino's lost it, man.
He hadn't lost it on the coaching floor. I know that. He's recruiting.
He's lost it. Yeah, recruiting. Stripper.
Oh, yeah.
He's probably playing for white women now. Yeah.
2-star.
When's the white?
3-star Gorgie.
He's got that 5-star though.
Hancock from Georgia. Yeah.
Got that 5-star.
Pitino's really doing a job on the recruiting trail, wasn't he?
Yeah. Got that 5-star in. So now, is there going to be a white Pitino pal? Did things finally step up to elevate this hope?
I wouldn't think so.
No, I hope not. Because don't get me wrong, it is a terrible situation, and it sucks that people are rallying behind this lady that did some terrible stuff with her children.
Including your boy.
My boy's interviewing.
Interviewer to glorifier. A pimp who prostitutes from children.
You don't think that anybody...
And it's not just him. She's on The View, ESPN, Outside Lines. It's a joke.
I did.
Two people responsible for this are getting away with nothing. And the people are punished mostly are the innocent ones. Luke Hancock, Tim Henderson, Stephen Van Treese, Gorgie Jane, Damian Lee, Trey Lewis. I mean... And I'm not saying that the university shouldn't get punished. I definitely think we should. We definitely did. But the fact that nothing is going to happen to the two main culprits shows to me what's wrong. What's wrong with the justice system?
There's a statute of limitations on prostitution. And then that's the reason why
I know that.
Yeah.
It's just
and then 16 being the age for a minor that's
you're
not a minor anymore.
I mean,
it sucks. Don't get me wrong. For Louisville fans, it completely sucks.
And here's the other thing I want to brush on too before we move on. Don't get me wrong. I was there, championship game, best top 5 memory of my life. Still will be top 5 memory of my life. Whether they take it or not, I was there. I saw Luke hit the threes. Great memories. Nothing can ever take that away. But Louisville fans, don't act like this isn't a big deal, because it's a big deal. You know. Everybody knows who won the last game, okay? In my mind, in a Louisville person's mind, will always be champions, but it's a big deal because you can't market it. You can't tell people you want it, and really you can tell people you want it, but you can't tell them. It's always going to be, strippers, prostitutes. There's always going to be that there, so it is a big deal. That doesn't take away from the memories I've had with it. I don't know. Don't have much hope in the appeal process, but you never know.
That's as I was doing my show prep today and scrolling through my favorite message board, there are people on there that are still writing ridiculous like this didn't happen, take them to court, blah, blah, blah. I mean, it has. And that's the schools acknowledge it happened, guys. So Louisville fans out there that are still think that this... Like you just said,
at this point,
it happened.
At this point in the appeal, you're not trying to say it didn't happen. Yeah. The appeal is going to be the punishments were too severe, and I think their best bet is going to be they're going to look back on the games where the player took the impermissible benefit, and I think what UofL is going to try to say is, okay, he took this impermissible benefit, he would have been suspended 3 games, vacate those 3 games. I think that's how they're going to go with it. I think they're going to fight that the repugnancy, the actual nature of the sex act shouldn't have any bearing on the vacating of victories, and I agree. I think they'll try to spin that. I don't have much hope in it, but I do think that's...
The reason I don't
you can't go back and say it didn't happen.
Yeah. The reason I don't think that will happen is the lady that was on the teleconference with the NCAA, she made it very clear they had never ran into a situation like this before. So they kind of have.
Saying that, I don't really.
It's not a assistant coach or a director of basketball operations, so they can technically.
She has nothing to do with the appeals committee. She's not on the appeals. It's a totally different. I don't have much hope in it either. But it's a totally different committee. It's not the same committee that ruled on it.
I don't see, but I think you are right. Obviously the NCAA doesn't care about how much money that there was. Now that I think your only shot at the appeals process.
Yeah. And I think even after that, I think UofL will take it to court. I really do. Because I, for one, don't think they have anything to lose now.
No. I think that and to me, it seems really stupid that we're going to, over a piece of a banner. Like you said, they can't market it now. So if this holds up, the banners go, they have to give the trophy back, and anything that sheds any light, like it's got to be like it never happened. So, like in your media guide, those players that were involved would be stripped.
Yeah, and then you'll also know the players involved after this is all over, because they won't be in the
it won't be in the media guide. There's some kind of floor display when you walk in the Young Center. That's got to go.
Yeah.
So, I mean, to me, and that's going to be the interesting. I could see Louisville somehow fighting the money aspect of it because, like I said, that's a lot. It's potentially $10 million.
Oh yeah.
In tournament money that you guys got from that, so I can see that part being fought about maybe trying to get. I think that's where you could win something. Is maybe
but nobody cares about that.
Nobody cares about that.
Also, exactly. What about the money the NCAA made from all our teams? Where's that money going?
NCAA.
All the merchandise that I bought about the 2013 champions that they made.
It's worth a little bit more now.
I mean, do they keep that money, or are they going to donate that to charity?
I mean, for those that don't know, David has a signed piece of the floor by Luke Hancock.
Oh, and by the way, I'll continue to present all that. But I'll continue to present that because he won't lose that award.
Yeah, I'm trying to buy it from you.
No, I'm not.
You said you want something in the office that's Louisville. I'm trying to.
No, I can't be in here with all this UK crap.
About $350. $350.
$350, yeah, now.
Yeah, I can make a nice little plaque to go underneath of it.
No.
But anyhow, so now I guess we've got about 38 more days before Louisville has to say what games these guys played in.
And I'm not sure about that scenario either, because I've also read somewhere that now, since we're appealing, it's not going to be until 45 days after the appeal. So I don't really know if it's now or after the appeal. I don't know.
I mean, I don't know.
It's just so stupid.
I don't know if anybody.
You know what players were there.
I don't know if anybody really knows what's going on with
They don't, because the NCAA doesn't make it clear.
Well, it's good for people in
They don't make it clear.
It's good for people in the podcast industry because it gives us stuff to talk about more. So, look at the bright side. No title, podcast on the rise.
Podcast on the rise.
But to wrap up here, we have the NBA draft tonight. Mitchell, is he in the green room?
Yes, he is.
Okay. Along with the three Kentucky guys, Fox, Bam, and Malik Monk. Monday night when we get together.
We got the UofL baseball game tonight, too. It's going to be hard for them to come back.
Two freshman
pitchers.
pitchers.
Win 3 in a row.
Three in 3 days, ain't it?
Yeah, we got to beat TCU tonight, and we got to beat Florida twice. And I think we'll win tonight, but beating Florida twice, so we'll face one of their aces. It's going to be tough. But we'll see.
Especially getting the day of rest.
Yeah.
For Florida there. But got the guys tonight in the draft. Monday night when we get together, like I said, the show will be up Tuesday around lunchtime. We're bringing in our first guest of the Rivalry Rant, Daniel. Many nicknames we could throw in there. Big Date Dan.
Big Date D.
Yeah. Bringing him in. Daniel Rogers is our first guest on the Rivalry Rant. And for one, we're going to dive into the draft, see where these players ended up at. Daniel, big Kentucky fan, so David's outnumbered a little bit that night. That's why we're going to try not to get into it too much, just kind of break down the draft. And we're also going to play a little game that I'm working on, but Daniel's pretty entertaining, and I think it'll fall in because, for one, Daniel loves Tom Brady, and he also loves Leonardo DiCaprio. So the question to Daniel is going to be, who would you rather be, Tom or Leo? So
that's tough.
And then we're going through and coming up with a few other ones. But hopefully Monday's show with our first guest in here will be great. Huge shout out to Trent Robinson. Trent is our investor that I talked about a little bit earlier in the show. He is bringing in some new equipment, so me and him are going to try to get that up and rolling this weekend, get that all figured out. Hopefully we can sound a little bit more professional for you guys. Check us out on iTunes. That is where we will be trying to get most of the show going through now. For now, you can search the Rivalry Rant or my name, Josh Conder, and it'll pop up. Well, hopefully just get that where it's listed under the Rivalry Rant. For some reason, when the upload and got approved, they put it underneath my name. So David's no help in that department.
Didn't you talk about a possible giveaway?
Yes. We are also working on a Rivalry Rant podcast Facebook page. And we're going to go big because we need more listeners to get this up and rolling like we want it to. So we are actually, once that page gets launched, we're going to do a Facebook giveaway where if you comment, comment on the post, share the post, and like the page, we're going to give away a set of tickets to the UofL UK football game this November.
UofL UK football game. People better be liking and sharing that like crazy. You're going to see the Heisman winner get revenge and Commonwealth.
And maybe he'll fumble again when he'll field goal
with
winning for him.
Heisman winner, revenge, tour. You can be there.
My prediction is I think he might get hurt this year. I'm not wishing it upon him. But I don't know if
lose the Final Four, lose the time.
But guess what?
Gets hurt. What else you got?
You're going
My prediction is your season will be ruined.
But backup quarterbacks do pretty good against Kentucky, so he'll probably Juwan Pass will come in there and smoke us maybe. But like I said, we are giving that away, so be on the lookout for that. We should have all that up and running next week. And anything to close? Go Cards
in the close.
College
Go
World
Cards
Series
tonight. TCU.
Yeah. So signing off for the Rivalry Rant. See you guys next week.